Hello and welcome to the 2024 World Harp Competition. Thanks for tuning in. Today we're holding the quarterfinal round of 4 competition rounds, featuring 25 candidates from all corners of the world and different musical backgrounds. Also joining us on the jury are Anne-Marie O'Farrell, Charles Overton, and Eduardo Diazmuñoz.
Hi everyone, I'm Anne-Marie O'Farrell and I'm a harpist and composer, and I'm from Dublin, but I teach at the Royal Northern College of Music in Manchester. I play pedal harp and lever harp, and I'm really interested in pushing boundaries about what's possible on those instruments. So it's really fantastic to be part of the Dutch Harp Festival this time.
Hi everyone, I'm Charles Overton. I'm a Boston-based harpist, improviser, composer. I also play classical music, chamber music, orchestral music. I do a little bit of everything. And I'm so excited to be here as a part of this fantastic jury.
Hello everybody, greetings from America. I'm Eduardo Diazmuñoz, Mexican, Spanish, American conductor and composer. And I alternate my activities between Monterrey, Mexico, and Champaign, United States, and state of Illinois. I'm very pleased to be part of this fabulous competition. Thank you so much for the invitation, and cheers to everyone.
What you're about to hear now are the video presentations that the candidates have prepared, previewing their original programs, which they propose to present at the semifinals if they're invited. Stay to the very end, and you'll get to hear the results of the jury's vote. Now let's get started with the first candidate.
My name is Lise Vandersmissen, and my program is based around solo repertoire for the Italian triple harp. The Italian triple harp was born at the end of the 16th century in Naples, and the biggest difference between the triple harp and the modern pedal harp is that the triple has 3 rows of strings running parallel to one another. Nowadays, we mainly hear the triple harp as a continuo instrument in an accompanying role, and we very rarely hear the Italian triple harp being performed as a solo instrument. In my program, I combined early music with newly written compositions for the triple harp. I start with Giovanni Maria Trabacci, Toccata Secunda and Ligatura per l'Arpa, and this was actually the first composition that was ever written originally for the Italian triple harp solo. After this, I travel alongside the triple harp in history to the west and perform pieces by William Byrd, Henry Purcell, John Barry, Barbara Strozzi, and many more. In my own compositions, I aim to make the connection between the time that this historic instrument was used and the time that we live in today. My repertoire is based on folk and early music, and I often use ankle bells, extended techniques, and poetry to spice my repertoire. reasons why we don't often hear the Italian triple harp being performed solo anymore. And one of them is that it's quite tricky to find repertoire that was originally written for this triple harp. However, back in the day, instrumentation was flexible and harpists used to play all kinds of music written for all kinds of different instruments. The Italian triple harp has such a unique sound that I think it's really worth exploring all kinds of repertoire that you can play on this beautiful three-rowed instrument, both early repertoire and modern repertoire. And I really hope to reintroduce this triple harp again as a solo instrument so we can all enjoy her range of sounds again.
Earth. With its vast forests, vibrant oceans, reflective ice regions, and the elusive universe. Nature for me is a source of inspiration. Its beauty, the irresistible, and the power that lies within. This connection with nature forms a common thread through my music. Playing the strings of the harp, putting notes on paper, it's all a natural connection. Unfortunately, humanity turns its back on this wondrous beauty, and the earth has no voice to defend itself. So, I bring nature closer to us. Let's embark on a journey together. Embrace nature with open hearts. Because when nature calls for us, we can't help but be carried away into its marvelous world. With my compositions, I aim to give the harp a new character, blending harmony and melody with beats, experimental soundscapes and the symphonic orchestra. Currently digital, but hopefully in the future with live musicians. Although I'm already engaging with extraordinary collaborations.
So the thing with drum and bass is that to me it's about the energy, you know. So when I saw Michelle and I saw how good she is as a harpist and a musician, I was like, I need to get her on a track. So I don't think I've ever seen harp combined with drum and bass before. This specific track is all about ebb and flow. And that's what you hear in the track. You hear it coming up and going down. It's in waves, and it keeps building in waves and waves and waves until we reach the climax, and then it just ebbs out again. And I think the way we did it, it really helps tie the whole project together, and I'm really happy what we did sonically, musically, and the collaboration just works.
In harmony with nature is not only about the musical aspect, but also the visual dimension. An atmospheric environment will be created to enhance the story and the music. The audience will immerse themselves in nature through the use of projected images, a spectacular light show, and different 4D techniques.
At the end of the piece, only the harp and the drums are playing in a 4/4 time signature, representing absolute time. But then we superimpose a layer of subjective time. At first you feel the tempo much slower, but then we speed up the time by means of metric modulation, though the absolute time is still in 4/4, thus creating a feeling of urgency or even a feeling of losing control.
Time seems to be running out for nature. It's 5 to 12. Do we still have time to take action? Discover the answer and my other musical collaborations in my presentation In Harmony with Nature. When nature calls for us and we show no appreciation, then time is up.
My name is Stepan Vynckt and I'm presenting This Ain't Fake. And let's be honest, if you think about the harp, it's all about angels and ethereal beauty. Well, my project is here to flip the script. I'm injecting punk rock energy into the harp strings, unveiling a whole new side to this timeless instrument. But This Ain't Fake is more than a concept. It's an experience that goes beyond performance. Music for me is a profound way to connect with others. Therefore, this concert is more like an invitation to come together, deepen connections, and create moments of shared understanding. In a world that often feels divided, it's about breaking down barriers that separate us from them. And the music is not just notes on a page. I'm presenting new works from globally acclaimed composers, each bringing their unique musical traditions to the table. It's a diverse mix to connect with people from all corners of the world, weaving that tapestry of global influences into the performance. I see it as a bold kickstart, an embrace of new perspectives and a journey into uncharted artistic territory. I'd say to get ready for an experience that's raw, authentic, and anything but fake. I'd love to invite you to join me, where the harp breaks free from the expected, where we can create something truly extraordinary together.
What was the sentence you said? We don't make it for the...
We don't make it for the harp.
We don't make music for the harp, but no.
We don't do it for the harp. We do it for the music.
It was something like that. But I get the point.
I think I said we don't do it for the harp. We do it for the music.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Like, why are we doing this? That's the coolest part, no? Sometimes you let me listen demos and I think, oh, that's a cool sound, and then you always come up with this, like, but that's you. Just
Yeah, but I love that because it's like...
It's great.
I have a lot of material, but the idea will be to make also kind of a generative thing.
In this piece, accumulating patterns and rhythmical motifs form a harmonic landscape from which one may perceive their own combinations of tones of their own melodies. It becomes difficult to sense the real from the imagined. And that's...
Who wrote that? That's cool.
You.
I mean, I guess the bird was like a symbol of it, like this nomad sort of thing.
Well, basically...
Leaving home,
having no home and having two homes at the same time, but in the end, the feeling of missing out, of never being whole again.
Yeah. Considering the harp as a instrumental part, but as just a sound source, and then we just do stuff to it, regardless of that it's a harp. It just happens to be a harp.
Also, a lot of the sounds that are being used in the songs are actually harp sounds, but just completely modified, or the non-typical.
This is so weird, I love it.
When lonely feelings steal the meadows of your mind, the thing if winter comes can spring be far behind. I fell in love with the harp and jazz, but when I started taking harp lessons, it was evident that jazz was not part of the official harp program. It's hard to learn how to discover one certain that I think that I found out. Today I guess cause I'm a mess. Nothing has gone on with me on this way. I thought there'd be no price on that, but I hate to pay. If I could perform one miracle, I really thought on me. I know that it's so place you could never really care. That's why I despair, I go alone. My name is Océane and I am in my first year of Jazz Harp Bachelor's Degree program in Zurich. This competition is a great opportunity to gain experience and connect with other musicians. I'm very happy and grateful to be free to study and play the kind of music that I really enjoy. Myself to you, body and soul.
Hello, I'm Sylvana. I'm a French harpist, teacher and composer. My day-to-day work is a mixture between teaching, playing with orchestras and choirs, and quite recently I've got the opportunity to present and create some work by myself or with other people. So I'm currently doing a show which is for flute, harp and dance theater. The acting and the dancing is playing around the idea that it is quite hard for female voices to come out in the world and the art world especially. I got asked by the Cité des Arts de Chambéry to come out with a show about female composers' work. So I got together with Cecile, who is a flute player, and Charlotte, a dance theater performer. And we came out of this with an idea of mixing different pieces written for the flute and harp. The pieces that we found, we looked through a database called Demandez à Clara. And on this database you can find a list of pieces written especially only by female composers. We also include in the show a piece that we commissioned, and it's written by Laurence Redou. The other pieces, one is by Kaija Sarayao, another by Lily Boulanger, and fourth one, is by Clémence de Grandval. During the show, you will have a few moments where you will be in the dark, and during those moments you will be listening to podcasts that are meant to be educational about female work as composers. The show is quite poetical and funny also, so we hope you'll like it.
Hello, my dear friends. My name is Cristi de la Rosa. I am from Veracruz, Mexico, and I want to introduce to you the Jarocho harp or arpa jarocha. This beauty here. And I will be glad to share with you my concert and present some music from Veracruz and Mexico, especially made for this instrument. So Jarocho harp is part of son jarocho, which is the specific music genre from Veracruz, and it involves also some other instruments like the jarana, the requinto, the bass, of course the singers, and the dancers, which is the percussion. This is a heritage we got from the Spanish conquerors, and we also have another very important element in our music, which is the African root. So the African part, the Spanish part, and the local part mixed all together, and we get this song jarocho. Don't worry if suddenly you need to dance when you listen to it, because that's why we play it, especially to dance. And in my program, Jarocho Harp and Heritage, I would like to share with you the song Jarocho and also some of my new compositions that are made especially for this beautiful instrument, and some Mexican songs.
In my program Jarocho Harp and Heritage, I will perform sones jarochos. Most of them very old, and they are public domain. Maybe you don't know any of them yet, but at least one of them I'm pretty sure you may recognize. It's called La Bamba, and it is considered as a second anthem for the people who live in Veracruz.
I will also be sharing with you some of my compositions. One of them is Piedra Mucar, or Mucar stone, and I will be glad to share what the Mucar material is, and it's a very interesting story that has a lot to do with our heritage. The song goes something like this.
La Llamada means the call, and is one of my newest compositions. I wrote it as a call for all women to raise their voice through music.
I'm very excited to participate, and hopefully I can see you next year at Dutch Harp Festival. I'm sure we will have an excellent time, and I'm sure that you will learn something new about this harp, about Mexico, and about Veracruz. Thank you, friends.
My name is Amelia Romano. Welcome to my program.
You start started playing the harp at a relatively young age, and as a teenager, you were in a harp ensemble. How have that experience influenced you?
Yeah, I was really lucky to grow up playing harps with my peers. And my childhood harp teacher, Diana Stork, loved music from Latin America. So she was insistent on bringing world music as well as music from Latin America to the harp ensemble and encouraged us to have fun with the syncopated repertoire. And I personally fell in love with it. The piece that I wrote is titled Counterpoint, and it was very much inspired by her encouragement of her students to compose music as well as improvise in that style.
And I understand that in your 20s, you really want to explore outside of our usual understanding and confines of the instrument, the lever harp. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so in my 20s, I really wanted to break kind of what I felt were the stereotypes of the instrument. And the best way to do that was to take up the electric harp. So I went and bought an electric harp. I felt it was easier to move around. I could plug it in and anyone could hear it well. And the particular harp I chose was a carbon fiber harp that was blue and that I stood with. So it really felt a different approach to the instrument as my vehicle for expression. And it also created just a different sonic soundscape. So the piece that I wrote on that harp that really exemplified what I was going for at that time was New Perspectives.
And as you develop in your career as a musician, you grew a desire to merge folk and classical traditions together. What happened there?
Yeah, so I had the fortune to stumble across Barbara Brundage's series Classics on Request, and she really took the essence of a classical piece and made it accessible for the lever harp. And I was so enjoying that experience. Once I started collaborating with classical players in the Bay Area, I kind of extended that new excitement and knowledge that I had. And the beauty of playing with classical players is they knew the repertoire they wanted to work on, but they didn't necessarily know how the lever harp worked enough to let the harp define the repertoire we chose. But instead, my job was to find ways to play what we wanted to play on the instrument. And that to me was incredibly exciting and liberating.
In the year 2020, you decided to pursue a master's degree at the San Francisco State University. Tell us about that.
I'd been studying with a pedal harp teacher for a few years prior, but when the pandemic hit, I really decided to focus on what was important to me and what I wanted to be doing, and that included furthering my technique and knowledge of classical repertoire, and doing so on the lever harp. So I sought out a degree with the encouragement of my pedal harp teacher, where she was teaching at San Francisco State University, and we spent 5 semesters immersing myself in repertoire from the Baroque era to the Romantic era with Debussy, all the way to contemporary music and minimalist music with Philip Glass and John Cage, to really explore the infinite possibility of an instrument in the chromatic world that was really designed for the diatonic world. Pursuing a degree in classical lever harp performance equipped me with the tools to perform classical music with joy and fluency. And I really want to bring that to the lever harp community. So I ultimately see myself as an ambassador to empower the community to think outside the confines of the instrument and defy convention.
everyone! We are the duo Aveline with Baptiste Baudimont on electronic but also on trombone, and myself, Emma Tommaso, on harp. We both come from France, but we live in Switzerland. Together, we compose and play our pieces with the aim of bringing together different musical styles like classical, contemporary, or actual music. We experiment a lot with this project, with all the sound possibilities, but also by adding text on our music.
Le rideau tombe avec fracas. Je ne vois rien, je ne ressens rien. Les mots me trouvent froide, détachée, déterminée. Le processus enclenché fige ma volonté d'en sortir.
With our music, we are constantly looking for balance between universes which are too dissociated in our opinion. Even if I always have a lot of fun playing harp repertoire pieces, here the goal is to create a language without any musical boundaries.
While spending hours behind our instruments, we also spend a lot of time imagining, composing, and synchronizing lights, as you have seen, to make our show totally immersive.
We hope that you will like our project and see you soon!
La Melancholie was born one night when I was just thinking about what is true to me. It was a time when a lot was uncertain for me, but then I thought, okay, but there are some things that feel real to me, and one of them was, this feeling of melancholia. And I was like, I thought that it is such a powerful feeling and that a lot of people misunderstand it. they associate melancholia with depression, but I see melancholia as this beautiful feeling that is not, maybe it's sad, but it's beautiful and it's deep. So in my program, I want to show the side. So in the program of La Mélancolie, I was choosing pieces that represent for me this feeling of melancholia. And they represent it either with its musical language or with certain memories that are associated for me with that music. Present certain understanding of melancholia, or at least I see it as a different cultural understanding of melancholia. For example, the music of Villa-Lobos, famous Brazilian composer, and his pieces, they're full of the saudade, this nostalgic feeling. Toshio Hosokawa and his two Japanese folk songs for harp. And the first of them, the Falling Cherry Blossoms, it is about the hanami, or the flower watching, that is in Japanese, and this ritual of just being in the nature and just watching this beautiful view of the falling cherry blossoms. That for me is also synonymous to what melancholia can be. Well, with this performance, I just want perhaps to say two things. The first, I just want to show this brighter side of being alone, because what I also noticed is that people are talking about being lonely more and more nowadays, especially younger people. And I want to show that loneliness is not necessarily only depression, that there are beautiful things that you can achieve only when you are by yourself. And that I just want to leave my audience with this brighter message, and perhaps hypothetically ask that maybe that can be the answer for the loneliness. Just embrace the melancholia in yourself.
Hi, my name is Zoe Vandermeer, and I'm going to share with you today excerpts from my cantata, Pleurs. Deep in the forest, two souls no longer lost, hear them sing, oh, oh, oh.
Hi, I'm Kevin, harpist and singer from Brittany, France. So my program is called This Song is for the Wind. The words that I use in the songs, they spread a bit like rumors in the wind, hoping to reach as many people as possible. So to make my words fly, I use the rhythmic techniques of the harp and some dynamic arrangements. The groove is very important to me in music.
Venez, prenez ma main, l'on lit, elle n'est pas différente, l'on l'a. Elle n'est pas différente, l'on l'a. Peut-être que demain l'on lit, nous remonterons la pente, l'on l'a. Nous remonterons la pente, l'on l'a. Nous gagnerons la ville de la chaîne d'amour. Parade qui défile maintenant pour toujours. Venez, prenez ma main, elle n'est pas différente. Peut-être que demain nous remonterons la pente. Nous grandirons la ville de la chaîne d'amour. Parade qui défile maintenant pour toujours.
As a songwriter, I like to take my inspiration from the traditional songs of my region, Brittany. I love to travel so much and to listen to as many musical genres as possible. So when I make my own arrangements, I like to fuse traditional vibes with pop, jazz, rock or world music.
Les courantes rivières Valaridées sont immobilisées Valaridées. Est-ce le froid de l'hiver, la ridette qui l'aura emporté au Dieu, la ridée.
The lyrics in French, they deal with quite committed subjects that are very close to my heart, such as gender inclusion, homosexuality, positive thinking, questioning ultra-capitalism, and also toxic masculinity.
Elle les a menés à Paris, elle les a menés à Paris. Là-bas il est question de les faire monter dans l'avion, qu'il est bon de retrouver ces amours de la campagne, qu'il est bon de s'oublier au tambour de la gaieté.
found this program to be inspiring and also comforting at the same time with nice pop colors. So I really hope to see you in the next Dutch Harp Festival, and thank you for listening.
Les chaussures du berger tombaient amoureux Louis, et pour les faire briller, les a frottées toute la nuit. Quand le marchand est revenu, le cordonnier lui a souri. Dès qu'il l'a vu, il a su que cet homme serait son mari. Vêtus de leurs plus beaux atours, ont fait le tour du monde entier. Si vous voulez que je vous y parle d'amour, je peux vous y parler. D'amour d'un petit cordonnier, d'un beau marchand de souliers.
Hello everyone, for the Dutch Harp competition I have prepared 3 pieces that are storytelling. The idea behind the program is to explore different sonorities and sounds, theatrical elements, so including the harpist's physicality, spoken and sung voice, and theatrical gesture. All these elements are present in one of the pieces that I will present, facilitated by George Appies, that is written for harpists with a silent male presence on stage.
Un poison. Et ma avec un peu ça va. Elle ça fait grand sourire, c'est le terme. Alors tu es vraiment heureux de me voir. Dans un jour, je te mets un quatre de belle monteuse et amusé, frappé, forcément. Sudah situ, fais-moi avec un peu ça va. Ne parle pas de ton cœur. Ne parle pas de ton cœur, c'est pure vanité. Avec un peu ça va, ils sont pas vers lui. Une réponse de cuir à ton visage, quand t'es la diable à ton visage.
The second piece I will present to you is Ballade Fantastique by Henriette Régnier, a more traditional piece, but definitely a storytelling piece. I believe in this case the theatrical element is strictly emerging from the music, so the musical interpretation is to be considered the theatrical gesture. With the American actor and composer X. Lee. The piece is a new interpretation of the myth of Apollo and Daphne, and it will explore themes such as violence, male gaze, and objectification. The piece involves physicality, and the sounds will get progressively more distorted as the main character transforms into a tree.
Hello, my name is Katia. I'm a modern classical harpist composer from Melbourne, Australia. I really hope that listeners can experience the harp as a powerful, colourful and diverse instrument. I'm interested in playing the pedal acoustic harp because I'm extremely nerdy in wanting to perfect the nuance of gesture and my technique in order to create colours on the harp and shape resonance. I've been heavily influenced by the philosophies and techniques of Carlos Salcedo. Due to the short duration of this video, I only show 4 works which I've written, 2 solo and 2 ensemble pieces. I hope you enjoy.
Have you already listened to Mussorgsky's Pictures at an Exhibition, which describes an imaginary tour of an art collection? What if from music for harp, paintings could be made? What if they were conceived by music? An interpretation of a musical piece is not static. It changes with the musician who plays. Be the paintings. Colors, shapes, textures, they will depend on the music performed. I imagined a virtual exhibition on stage, which paintings were faded with time, left and colored. Music here is leading to a subjective revival of those nebulous pictures, a renewal perception influenced by it, which makes music itself alive. Hello, my name is Héloïse. I'm a French harpist and I'm glad to have the chance to present this project with Katia, who is the illustrator of the project. We will work with the paintings and the music together. So I found her drawings through the Instagram page and I really found them really interesting because there was like a genuine feeling, there was a simplicity behind the colors, the shapes, which could make a really good exhibition with the music.
My name is Katia, I'm French violinist and illustrator, and I'm so happy to work with Héloïse to illustrate our creativity.
What I imagined is that you will be seated behind a table and that you will have your drawing like this with a camera on the drawing. This drawing will be seen on stage on a blank white paper. Actually a little young harpist. I was teaching to her. She was telling me when I was playing the piece, oh, actually it's blue. And I looked at her and I was like, it's blue? What do you mean by it's blue? She said, because I saw blue. And I said, okay, so if I play this, what colors can you see? And she said, yellow. And then pink. I was like, wow, she can see colors through music, through sounds. That's kind of amazing.
In Cuba, professional musicians not only get trained in Western art music, but also in that of the popular and folkloric traditions of the country. So that means that in the same concert, you can see scheduled, for example, a piece by Mozart, Poulenc, next to another one by Ernesto Lecuona, Guido López Gavilán, Harold López Nussa. That was my reality when I lived there. when I emigrated to North America to continue my studies in harp, I had to let go of a huge part of me in order to become the performer that I thought I needed to be. So that meant wearing gowns and pearls and high heels and playing the standard repertoire that everybody loves and that was composed more than 100 years ago. However, after embodying that new identity, I realized that a huge part of me was missing, and that was the part that made me unique and that made me special in comparison to the rest of my colleagues. So following my mother's teachings, I put together a group of my friends who are amazing artists. They're led by Pepe Gabilondo, and together we have created a multidisciplinary piece where we're going to showcase Cuban's cultural traditions through the classical pedal harp.
Welcome to my living room. I'm Zhu Xing. They're my super partners. This is my violinist Xing Wei and my guitarist Chao. design our program, I picked one of my old compositions, that's The Ghost, based on a Chinese poem, The Ghost. And then we start to wonder why we never talk about death, and we make death such a scary thing, so we relate it with ghosts or spirits or like the unsaid myth. So we're wondering maybe there are more possibilities about death. Maybe when we die, our physical body disappears, but life doesn't just end there. Is that possible? So that's how we started to build up the whole program. And the music we're playing is the second part of the program. That's the earthly life, and then going to the third section, the ghost. And I hope you will enjoy it.
Hello, my name is Ruth Lee and I'm from the United Kingdom. My programme is centred around mythology, taking inspiration from both ancient and modern sources, whilst also celebrating the female voice, with works by myself and other female identifying composers. There are vast numbers of folk tales, traditions, and themes to take inspiration from. My programme uses these and their emotions of joy, grief, contemplation, and wonder in a variety of styles, including pensive Scottish airs, as well as using modern contemporary extended techniques on the harp to musically realise vivid visual imagery, as well as expanding into otherworldly dimensions with the use of loop machine, voice, and other electronics.
The Trobaritz Beatriz de Dia was one of many 12th century court composers who wrote and performed their own works, leaving us with a written trace in manuscripts. The Trobaritz and Troubadour, respectively female and male court composers, were not only revolutionary in the history of written music, but also actively engaged in the society of their time. In Occitanie, women could hold more administrative responsibilities as well as own land, partly because many men were off crusading at the time, thus enabling Trobaritz to be respected and valued as composers and performers. Preceding the musical era of conventional harmony and tonality, troubadour music can sound modern to today's listener. This is why we thought it would be interesting to juxtapose this old music with music from the turn of the century. We chose works by Cécile Chaminade and Maurice Ravel, who find their inspiration in the past, whilst also being ahead of their time, by their choice of poetry and of musical language. Each song in the program takes on the role of a messenger. Music conveys what words cannot, as Beatriz de Dia says in the last verse of her song.
Cosmic Fragments evokes big ideas using short, imaginative pieces and texts, combining my passion for contemporary harp repertoire with my love of 20th and 21st century poetry and literature. Time is a catastrophe, perpetual and irreversible. I alternate speaking short poems and texts with performing solo harp miniatures, painting a picture of the existential aspects of human experience. Themes covered include the reality of suffering and violence, fills the newspapers with articles and pictures, builds new houses for the orphans, invigorates coffin makers, gives grave diggers a pat on the back. The value of human imagination. If one day you are riding in the forest and the universe appears to you, don't ask it the questions you've been taught by science. What you can measure is only part of what is there. Ask it everything you ever wanted. Is it finished? Is it lonely? Does it have imaginary friends? Humanity's relative intelligence. On the planet Earth, man had always assumed that he was more intelligent than dolphins because he had achieved so much. The wheel, New York, wars, and so on, whilst all the dolphins had ever done was muck about in the water, having a good time. But conversely, the dolphins had always believed they were far more intelligent than man, for precisely the same reasons. The vulnerability of our species and planet. Our historical fact is the persistent threat of extinction. No amount of lyric description can love the beautiful, the untouched landscape back from the bomb. Yet, I believe that lyricism represents a form of courage, for it is the only response as thoroughly vulnerable as the jeopardized world itself is. And the ultimate impermanence of the earth. This earth will grow cold, a star among stars, and one of the smallest, a gilded mote on blue velvet. I mean this, our great earth. At the heart of the program, I invite the audience to optionally participate in the Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh's hugging meditation, which I lead while improvising at the harp. Breathing in and out, become aware that you and your beloved are both alive. A reminder that the most precious thing we have in the entire cosmos is this moment with each other. It is possible to believe that all the past is but the beginning of a beginning, and that all that is and has been is but the twilight of the dawn. The finale looks ahead to the possibilities that may yet lie ahead of our species, returning to the opening cyberpunk vibe with a piece for electric lever harp and electronics that I recently commissioned with a grant from the American Harp Society. My program displays as many characters of the contemporary harp as it offers insights into the contradictions of humanity's miraculous, brief appearance in the cosmos.
My name is Alexander Thomas. I'm a British harpist and composer, and I'm currently based between London and Oslo in Norway. My music making always comes down to heartfelt human connection. I choose works and build programs which paint pictures and tell stories, and through these I share my own personal experiences. Modern audiences consume so much music which very obviously contextualises itself through its lyric content to its subject matter. As such, classical music can be difficult for many to deeply engage with. It's often abstract and can be extremely complicated. With this in mind, I always introduce and discuss the music that I play, breaking down any barriers there might be, regardless of the era in which the music was written. Whether it's 1723, 1923, or I just wrote it this morning myself, for me it's so important to bring my audience right into the world of each composer and the landscape of each work. I know that with guidance, an audience really does want to be challenged, and it's in this sweet spot that the magic really does happen. As far as my own music is concerned, I write myself into it. I express what I can't say with words. For me, to use music as a connecting tool for us to unpack each other's experiences is truly my goal as a composer. I think that beauty comes in many forms, and I aim to find the beauty in the full range of human emotion and experience, even the deeply dark, traumatic, and sad. The harp is such a magnificent tool for raw emotion and colour, and in truth, I feel like its potential remains so unexplored. piece of my programme is entitled Memoirs in 3 movements. The work as a whole is ultimately about waiting, about time. The first movement is titled 157, in reference to the meaning of those 3 numbers in Western numerology. I have this quote: "You were already in my life before we met. I thought about you even before I knew what you looked like." There's this journey of emotional states where waiting leads to loneliness, which leads to sadness, frustration, and finally anger. The second movement is titled Rose Quartz, which is a form of crystal associated with pure love and healing. The third movement is titled Finally Someone Who, which is a paraphrase of a line taken from the libretto of the musical Cabaret. It's about trying and ultimately failing to manifest what we desire. It's love, a fleeting spark, a temporary moment in space. We hear a confluence of time, tempers, private versions of myself. Falling waves like Hokusai build a greater wave, built of bells, of clock chimes, of time.
My name is Fiona Rutherford and I'm a Scottish harp player from Edinburgh in Scotland. So the Scottish harp, also known as the clarsach or the lever harp, was originally used to play folk music, but nowadays many players are writing their own music and using it in all sorts of exciting ways in bands and different combinations. As soon as I started playing the harp, I began writing music on it. I studied both folk music here in Edinburgh. There's a really great traditional music scene, and also classical music. I was also learning the classical harp and the piano, and I feel like I really combined these influences to bring them to my writing style on the harp. My programme is called The Scottish Harp, an Eclectic Tale, and it's really a celebration of just being able to be yourself and play your own compositions without worrying about categorising them. My music is always melodic but influenced by a wide range of styles such as fellow music, contemporary classical and Scottish folk and world music styles as well. And I think you'll hear a bit of everything within the programme. So the music is all my own compositions. Some of them that I've decided to include in the programme are Jagged, which is a dark and kind of wild composition. Playing around with the percussive sound you get on the harp, especially when two hands are playing close together within the same range. Another piece that I play is Lines on a Map. And when I wrote this piece, I was inspired by the African harp, the kora, and it's a celebration of how easily you can travel through music. And Seed, this is a composition which plays around with hypnotic kind of minimalist patterns. When I was writing this piece, I was pregnant with my first daughter, Mia, and she used to move around a lot in the womb whilst I was writing it, so she's kind of been an inspiration for this piece and the idea of something big, new life growing from something small. Sunflower. This is a piece inspired by one of my harp students, Esme McIntyre, and the piece is full of warmth and the joy of life. So I hope that I can bring my programme to audiences all over the world and show how the Scottish harp is being used in new and eclectic ways. I would like the audience to enjoy the melodic quality of all the compositions, and the common factor of the pieces is also emotional impact, which I always consider when writing new music.
Hello there, my name is Joell Ian Jes, and with this program I hope to give you a whole spectrum of emotional nuances, from joy to sadness, from excitement to grief. I feel like this program can encapsulate what the human spirit can feel through their lifetime. It is when one is faced with circumstances of great adversity that the human spirit uses it as a catalyst for growth and an opportunity for change. Peter Marshall so beautifully wrote, "When we long for a life without difficulties, it reminds us that oaks grow strong in contrary winds, and that diamonds are made and are short sentence, the human spirit was encapsulated.
I have always had stage fright.
2A, take 6.
I felt exposed as a classical soloist. And the realization I came to is that my musical voice is not about me, not about showing off or being a star, but about creating meaningful, shared experiences that heighten our sense of community. I'm Ariel Sol, a composer and harpist living in Los Angeles, California. I'd love to invite you to experience 3 works united by the theme, Stronger Together. The first is my new harp concerto, Strummed, which I've written in consortium-style collaboration with 10 incredible harpists from around the world. Takes different genres of string music that have influenced me, from metal guitar to traditional Filipino rondalia, and combines them using the unique effects of the acoustic pedal harp. The next 2 works are far less traditional, in that I invite the audience to participate rather than just listen. This next work, Neuron Mirror Neuron, is a treatise on human connection, intimacy, and interpersonal exploration. The title is inspired by mirror neurons, brain cells that activate when 2 people perform the same action, as if mirroring each other. audience members are invited up one by one to operate a glowing orb. The orb is programmed using Max MSP to process the sounds of an electric harp. The beauty is that without the participation of both people, no music can be made. The harp part is fully improvised so that a unique sonic vocabulary can be built by each pair. Human connection is something I wanted to amplify and embellish through the use of this interactive music. The final work takes that same sense of humanity but applies it to a larger scale. Using a photosensor circuit connected to an Arduino Micro, the audience is invited to use their phone flashlights to influence the music. The piece is called Same Sun, and the instrumental track and effects on the harp have two versions, bright and dark. By changing the ambient light in the room with their phone flashlights, the audience collectively controls the sound of the piece. This demo version only shows 3 people, but the true meaning becomes clear with a full audience. Same Sun is a metaphor for collective action. Adding one flashlight to a dark room will do nothing, but the entire audience working together can create real audible change. At the end of the day, for all the struggle and hardship in our world, what more can we do than work together?
You have now heard all 25 candidates of the quarterfinals of the World Harp Competition. Now, to find out who will be invited to present their full program at the semifinals this coming April here in Utrecht at the Dutch Harp Festival, I'm turning the stage over to jury member Anne-Marie O'Farrell.
Hi everyone. On behalf of the Dutch Harp Festival competition jury, that's myself, Anne-Marie O'Farrell, Charles Overton and Eduardo Diazmuñoz, we'd love to announce the results of who will progress to the finals. But first, on behalf of us all, we'd like to say how struck we were, how in awe we were of the range of originality, of very fine harp playing, of creative spirits and marvellous ideas. It was an absolute pleasure and privilege to witness your performances, and we acknowledge the huge work and self-giving that goes into producing an entry to a competition of this kind. So warmest congratulations to all the participants. So the results are, in alphabetical order, Llewellyn Ifan Jones, Kevin Lepennick, Ruth Lee, Katia Mestrovich, Océane Minder, Amy Nam, Daphne Paris, Fiona Rutherford, Ariel Sol, Alexander Thomas, and Emma Tomaso. Huge congratulations to you all, and we're really looking forward to the next steps. All the best.